A memorial and funeral service today for a Connecticut man who died more than 200 years ago. He was a slave owned by a doctor in Waterbury. Our chief political correspondent Mark Davis shows us how he was honored.
As a bagpiper played what may have been heard at a funeral in the 18th century, the remains of an African slave that lived with his owner in Waterbury was brought to the rotunda of the state capitol today. Known as Fortune, he had died in 1798, and his body stripped of its flesh so that his bones could be used for medical study. In the 1930s, his bones were donated to the Mattituck Museum in Waterbury by the family that had owned him and placed on display. 40 years ago, they were placed in storage. Medical illustrators have concluded that he may have looked like this at about the time of his death, which further research has concluded came because of a broken neck. Clergy from the Episcopal Church are performing his last rites. Research confirms he was baptized at St. John's Episcopal Church in Waterbury. Alderson's Funeral Homes are providing the casket and the plot and vault at Riverside Cemetery, where many white Waterbury slave owners are buried.
He will now rest. He is now good enough to rest in the same dirt that they're resting in.
For those that have spent years trying to make this happen, today was a day of great victory.
We felt his spirit still was there and asked him for help, and we did that. All these many years investigating. I'm just so thankful that this is finally coming to some type of closure, but really not a closure in regard to perhaps finding who his ancestors are.
That's Mark Davis reporting. Records from that family that owned Fortune indicate he had a wife and 4 children, so it's likely there are descendants of this man, and the research will go on.
And we'll be right back after this.